you doing? My name is Ryan Kelly, and I'm going to be hosting another episode of Know Your Bosses. Know Your Bosses, if you're not aware, is a show where I will review some of the most classic bosses to the lesser known ones. I'll rank them based on their difficulty, creativity, appearance, and fighting style. In the end, the boss will get a ranking from 1, avoid the fight, to 10, pursue the fight. So now that I've quickly gone over the rules, we can talk about the boss we'll be fighting today. Today I'm going to be discussing location. Before I get into this location section, I should explain that I'm only going to be covering the fight with Wally at the end of Victory Road in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Although, I am aware that you can fight him after Victory Road in Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, and Pokemon Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon. With that out of the way, let's talk about the best way to find Wally. In every single game besides Pokemon Emerald, Wally will be at the end of Victory Road. In Pokemon Emerald, Wally will be at the start as a precursor to Victory Road. If you've never gone through Victory Road before, or you just aren't familiar with it despite the fact that you've played through it multiple times, then here's the best route to take in order to get to the end of Victory Road.
Backstory with Shiny Collector 98. We play through the game with Wally starting early on when we see him catch his first Pokemon. Shortly after this, we learn he is going to be sent to live with extended family in a new town. Wally didn't originally intend to be a trainer, he only wanted a Pokemon for companionship. After this, we don't see Wally for a while until we arrive in Mauville City, where we battle him. We see his Ralt has gained a few levels. This shows us that he has been training, although not much. He has just started to get serious as a trainer, so he can be easily defeated here, but don't let this fool you. Next time, he will be more of a challenge. Later on, we hear Wally ran away to train and get better. We don't see more of him until the final showdown in Victory Road.
Boss information. Wally is one of the 2 rivals in the 3rd generation and has an illness, but we never learn what he's sick with. People speculate that he either has an acute bronchitis or asthma. However, Wally is not just known as the ill rival. He's known for a few things in the Pokemon series, like being that douche who fights you at the end of Victory Road when all your Pokemon are either dead or very close to dying. But he's mainly known for having a Ralts as his mascot Pokemon. Speaking of his Ralts, it's actually pretty infamous in the Pokemon community. Not because it's difficult to fight, but because of the tutorial section of the game. During the section of the game, you follow Wally into a patch of grass to help him catch himself a Pokemon. When he encounters a Pokemon, it will always be Ralts. Now, this isn't why this particular Ralts is infamous. It's infamous because there's a chance that it could be shiny.
Are you kidding me? He found a shiny Ralts! Are you fucking kidding me?
So not only is Wally finding a rare Pokemon on the first route, but there's a chance that this Ralt could be shiny. I can't even imagine how painful it would be to see Wally catch a shiny Ralts. Wait, actually I can, because of how many uncatchable shiny Poochyenas I've encountered. But that's a topic for a different video. There's actually something else that can happen during this tutorial, which is actually rarer than finding a shiny. He's actually able to kill the Ralts. In order for this to happen, his Zigzagoon has to have an 11 attack, and the wild Ralts has to have a nature that lowers its defense, with an individual value, or IV, of 3 or less in HP, and 5 or less in defense. Even if the Zigzagoon and Ralts match the proper stats, there's a chance that Zigzagoon won't kill it. It also has to use Tackle, which can do up to 10 damage in the scenario, then use Growl and tackle it again, which should do 7 damage. If everything I said happens, the Ralts will faint. However, if the Ralts does end up fading, Wally will still have a Ralts when you encounter him in Maulville City. The game acts like the Ralts never fainted. The odds of this happening are 1 out of 8,574. Just to give you an idea of how high these odds are, the odds of finding a shiny Pokemon are 1 out of 8,192. The fact that its odds are higher than finding it shiny is ridiculous. And just to clarify, the Ralts can't appear shiny or faint in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Wow, we are already pretty far into this boss information section, and I've barely talked about Wally. Let's change that. Wally's name could be from Walter, meaning ruler of the army, or it could come from Wallace, meaning foreigner or stranger. I personally think that the latter fits Wally's description better, but that's just my opinion. It could be either or. Something I never knew about Wally is whenever you check any of the gyms, excluding the first 3, it will have Wally listed as the first certified trainer. Meaning that after losing that first battle with you, he got his act together and became a better trainer. And the final thing I could dig up about Wally is the fact that he has a pretty big role in the Pokemon manga, Pokemon Adventures. Strategy. Before I get into the proper strategies on how to beat Wally, there are a few things that you should do before facing him. First of all, go through all of Victory Road and beat all of the necessary trainers to get to Wally. Then use an escape rope to leave the cave and go heal your Pokemon. So that way, you don't have to backtrack to the Pokemon Center if your Pokemon are low on health. Also, you won't have to waste any items, which is always a plus. After you heal your Pokemon, then go back through Victory Road again, save right before the fight begins, so if you do lose, you can soft reset and not have to go back through Victory Road for a 3rd time. And finally, make sure to bring antidotes, awakens, paralysis heals, a red flute, and lots of potions, super potions, and hyper potions, because you will need them for this fight. With that out of the way, let's get into the proper strategy for beating Wally. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna hand this one over to Shiny Collector, because he knows more about battle strategies than I do.
Wally leads with Altaria, which is a combination typing of Flying and Dragon, so if we lead with an Ice type, we'll do 4 times damage. Ice is not a very common type, so if you do not have one, Rock will still do 2 times damage. It would also be beneficial to bring a Fighting type Pokemon, which is super effective against 2 of his Pokemon, Delcatty and Magneton. Fighting is the only type super effective against his Delcatty, but his Delcatty has Cute Charm ability and is always female. So to avoid infatuation in battle, bring a female fighting type if possible, or if not, a red flute will be very useful here. His Delcatty also knows Sing, so this is where Awakenings will come in handy. Going back to his Magneton, it can also be useful to have a ground type which deals 4 times damage, and if your ground type Pokemon is a good enough level and has a powerful move such as Earthquake, you will take this thing out in 1 hit. The last type we recommend bringing is Flying. A Flying type Pokemon is super effective against his Roselia and his Gallade. His Roselia does have the Poison Points ability, so make sure to bring antidotes. His Gallade can Mega Evolve, so it will be a little bit more difficult to beat, but as long as your Pokemon can dish out or take a hit, you'll be fine. For the rest of your team, it's up to you. Bring any other members to be as unique as you want in this fight. He only has 5 Pokemon, so you have some wiggle room, and if you do all of this correctly, you'll knock him against the wall.
Rewards. After beating Wally in Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, you'll be rewarded with either $2,700, $2,880, $3,060, $3,240 and $3,420, depending on whether you have any money increasing items or you rematch him after you beat the Elite Four. And in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you'll be rewarded with at least $1,920. And in every game, besides Pokemon Emerald, he'll grant you access to the Elite Four. And in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you'll be rewarded with at least $1,920, and you'll be given a Dawn Stone. Final thoughts. In this section of the video, I'll be talking about how the gameplay, design, difficulty, fun factor, and creativity weigh in on our opinion of whether we think a boss is good or not. Anyway, now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's start this section.
Wally is an interesting character who serves as a secondary rival that is less involved throughout the story, but he still has some unique character features, such as his first Pokemon not being a traditional starter. He also has an interesting design to match the starter, which is, off the record, the best Pokemon to exist ever.
However, this doesn't change the fact that he's a pretty easy rival, even at the end of the game. If you know the basics of type matchup, then he'll go down very quickly. I mean, he doesn't even have 6 Pokemon on his team, and he's this close to the Elite Four.
Despite his lack of battle ability, Wally is still a unique character in the fact that we get to see his family in various cities throughout the region. We get extra details surrounding his character to build his personality, which we don't even get from May, our main rival.
So with all of this in mind, our final score for Wally is a 7 out of 10. So, what do you think about this boss? Do you think this boss deserves a higher or lower ranking? Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this video or not. Also, make sure to click the like button if you liked the video and hit that subscribe button. Before I go, I also want to give a big shout out to Shiny Collector 98. He was a huge help with this video, and if it wasn't for him, then it wouldn't be possible.
Thank you so much for having me on, Ryan. I really enjoyed this series and I'm glad I could become a part of it. If you, the viewers, would like to watch another video Ryan and I made together, you can check out the 10 worst shiny Pokemon on my channel. A link will be available in the description, or you can wait for it in the end screens.
Anyway, thank you guys for watching. My name is Ryan Kelly, and I will see you in the next episode of Know Your Bosses.